Hello, I'm Tim Eisner and I'm going to run you through the first few rounds of Little Pig. In Little Pig, each player is playing one of the three pigs from the fairy tale, and they're competing to build 3 houses before the other pigs. The first one to build 3 houses will win the game. In the game, the players will gather resources by choosing which area they would like to send their pig to go gathering. They can gather straw, wood, or brick by sending their pig to the field, the woodlot, or the brickyard. At the beginning of each round, there's the gather phase, in which each player chooses one area to send their pig. They choose the card and place it face down in front of them. And once all the players have selected where they will send their pig, the cards are revealed, and the players move their pig token to the appropriate resource. The gray pig will go to the woodlot, the orange pig to the field, and the blue pig to the woodlot as well. If a pig is alone in an area, it will gather all of the resources in that area. And if there are more than one pig in a location, they must split the resources in that location. So the blue pig would get 2 wood, and the gray pig would get 2 wood as well. After the gather phase, we enter the market phase. Starting with the starting player, each player will take 2 actions in the market phase. In the market phase, you can build, you can draw guest cards which help you during the gather phase, or you can gain a resource to just get the resource. So the blue player will spend 2 wood to build their wood walls, their wood floor. Floors cost 2 of a resource, walls cost 4, and a roof costs 6. And they must be built in that order, and a house must be built all with the same type of resource. For the second action, the blue player will draw 1 guest card, and then it is the gray pig's turn. The gray pig will also build a floor, a wood floor, and will spend their second action to gain a brick. The orange player will spend 2 straw to build their straw floor, and will draw a guest card. That is the end of the market phase. All the players have taken their actions, so the players will return their gather cards to their hands. The starting player token will be passed. Each player will return their pig token to their player nest, and the players will add 3 resources to the brick pile, 3 brick, 4 wood to the woodlot, and 5 straw to the field. The resources are always added in that order of 5, 4, 3, and as you can see, there are now 6 brick in the brick lot. Nobody selected brick last time, so that brick stays there and they're added on, and now there are 6 there. So it kind of changes the landscape of the game. Each player will now choose again where they will send their pig to gather. And all players have chosen their gather cards, and the cards are flipped. And the orange player goes to the straw again, blue player goes to the woodlot, and the gray player goes to the brickyard. They're all alone, so they gather all the resources in their location. And bring them back to their player mat. The gray player is the starting player this round, and they will spend 2 brick to build a brick floor, and then we'll spend 4 brick to build their brick walls. When a player builds a wall, they gain a friend automatically. A fairy tale friend from another story will come and help them out, and they draw one of the friend cards and place it face up next to their player mat, or in front. And so the gray player has Puss in Boots, who will help get resources at the start of each market phase. The orange player will then start their market phase by building a wall, gaining a friend card as well, Rumpelstiltskin, who can help change straw into any other resource, and they will gain another straw since they have Rumpelstiltskin. The blue player will spend their 4 wood to also build a wall, gaining a friend as well. They will gain Little Red Riding Hood, who helps them capture wolves that are roaming in the wild. If a player plays a wolf card, which I'll cover in a minute, then Little Red Riding Hood will capture that wolf if it's not already following a pig. All the players, for the blue player's second action, they will gain another guest card. All the players have played their actions, and so now we go to enter cleanup. The starting player token is passed, player tokens are returned to the player boards, and the resources are refreshed. We add 3 brick to the brick yard, 4 wood to the woodlot, and 5 straw to the field. And now each player will choose secretly where they are going to gather. And whether or not they want to play a guest card. The players have all chosen. So the starting player will ask, since there's a guest card out, they will ask, are there any wolves out? Because wolves are revealed before the other gather cards, because they are sent to a specific location. In this scenario, a wolf is played. The blue player has chosen a wolf. They will reveal that wolf card and choose one location to send the wolf token. They will send the wolf to the brickyard, and the wolf, if any other pigs are in that location, the wolf will steal all the resources. So the wolf steals those resources. We flip over and we see that there is the gray pig is very sad because they chose to go to the brickyard and there are no resources there. The wolf will not do anything worse than steal the resources, but that's still pretty tough for the gray player. And now the orange player is a starting player. They will use their 6 straw to build a straw house, and so they will build their straw roof, finishing a house. Now there's a bonus in this game for the first house of each type that's completed. Whichever player completes the first house of a type gains 1 of each resource, so the orange player will get 1 wood, 1 brick, and 1 straw. And for their second action, the orange player will build a second straw house. To win the game, you need to build any 3 houses. You don't need to build just a straw, wood, and brick house. You can build any combination. The only restriction is that you can't start a second house of a type until your first house is finished. You got to get the first one built before you can start building the second. So that is the orange player's turn. The green player will then gain 1 wood and gain a guest card. And the gray player got wolfed and does not have any resources at all, so we'll just draw 2 guest cards. You can choose any of the 2 actions, or you can choose the same action twice. And so we'll do one more round and then we will call it good. So we return the player markers, return the gather cards, and refresh the resources. There's also these 5 times resource, 4 times, and 3 times, which are easy and handy to load on. And the starting player's token is passed. I think it is the orange player's turn now again, and each player will choose their gather and guest cards. And they have chosen. The starting player will ask, are there any wolves about? There are no wolves this time, so the players will all reveal their cards and place their pigs on their locations. So the gray pig goes to the woodlot, as does the orange pig, and the blue pig goes to the field. Now the players split the resources in the woodlot, so each of them will get 2 wood, adding it to their supply, and the blue player gets all of the straw. There's a couple guest cards that have been played this turn. The gray player played Secret Stash. All pigs in your area gain 2 extra resources of the type they gathered. So these players will each gather 2 extra wood, adding them to their supply, adding them to their resource area. And the blue player played Premonition. If you were in a location with at least 1 other pig, gain 1 of each resource. They were unfortunately alone, so will not get that bonus. And now we enter the market phase, and the gray pig will build wood walls. They built a second wall, so they get to draw another friend card. Now you can only have 1 friend in play at a time, so the gray player needs to either choose to replace their friend card and discard the one they had before, or they can send their new friend to somebody else's house and replace their friend. And so the gray player is really enjoying having Puss in Boots, and will send their evil stepmother to replace Rumpelstiltskin. And the gray player forgot to use Puss in Boots' ability at the beginning of the turn. At the start of your market phase, each other pig must give you 1 resource if they can. So the orange pig will give them a straw, and the blue pig will give them a wood. Now it is the orange player's turn, and they will spend 2 wood to build a wood floor. And they will draw a guest card. And the blue player will spend 2 wood. Nope, can't do that because they've already got a wood house. They will gain 2 wood, so they're ready to build their wood roof on the next turn. And that is the first few rounds of Little Pig. The game continues until one player has built 3 houses. If 2 players complete 3 houses on the same turn, then the person who has the strongest houses, the sturdiest houses, being brick, would win in a tie. And as they go, players will gather more friend cards and gain more resources and more guest cards to use to outwit their neighbors. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I hope you get a chance to play our game.